Alright, so it's 11 a.m., perfect timing to avoid the lunch rush at the supermarket. And the supermarkets where I'm bringing you are not fancy Italian supermarkets, health-oriented, organic, fine foods. But I'm not even bringing you to the cheapest, most convenient stuff. I'm bringing you to the regular supermarkets where 99.9% of Italian consumers just shop every day. So we're gonna see what an average everyday chocolate assortment looks like. So you're gonna see the reality of what kind of pretty bad chocolate Italians eat every time. And the fact that they eat bad chocolate is not the worst part, is that they eat the bad chocolate thinking it's the best one. That's the worst part. Anyway, let's get going. So the first supermarket I'm gonna show you is called Coop, which stands for cooperative, but let me tell you, it ain't that cheap. Here's the chocolate bar section of the supermarket, and as you can see, there's no price higher than €3.50 for a bar. Seems like the median price is actually €2, with the most fancy stuff being over here, so let's check them out. So the higher price is definitely given by the cacao percentage, but if you want to be the fanciest chocolate bar on the shelf, you should at least tell me where the cacao comes from, and of course Lindt ain't telling us. Nope. It only tells us pasta di cacao, which is cocoa mass, cocoa butter, and cocoa powder. I don't know why you need that. And yes, I just put a very nice actor pretending to be an artisan when all their chocolate is made in huge factories. Hey, good job tricking us all for the past 30 years with this. Another one that always makes me laugh is this Solidal chocolate bar. Oh, it's fair trade. You're doing so good for the people, but whose life are you changing for €1.22? I don't know. It says extra dark, but it's only 50% cacao. Of course, as usual. Since we're here, also a quick note on cioccolato di Modica, Modica style chocolate. I used to believe that all Modica chocolate was bean to bar made from specialty cacao beans into chocolate bars, but nope. Most cioccolato di Modica is made by the same cheap chocolate couverture that make all the other bars, so it's nothing special until it proves you otherwise. Oh, and this one always cracks me up. Look at this. 85% dark chocolate with 26% criollo. Like, why would you mix the good stuff with probably very generic beans? And why do you think that's a plus? But I don't understand them anymore, honestly. Since 10 years ago, they're not what they used to, so they're gonna stay on the shelf. Now, this is a chocolate spread brand that Italians rave about, like it's the best of the best, and it's like $4.75, ain't cheap. Let's look at the ingredients list, because it's very funny. First ingredient, sugar. Second ingredient, hazelnuts, 80%. Then sunflower seeds, milk, and cocoa butter is only 6%. I mean, look at the color. I don't know, man. It looks all oils and sugar. So this is what I got from Coop. I got 100% Lindt. This is gonna be something. A 70% dark chocolate Ritter Sport to just see where they're at. And also green banana. Has nothing to do with today's video. I just need to make a reel on astringency in dark chocolate, and green banana is a great example to explain the feeling in the mouth. Now we are at a superstore called Pam, just a little bit fancier than Coop, but pretty much same prices. You know what? I'll give them one credit. The dark chocolate is at eye level, while the really crappy stuff is at the bottom. Now here is where we see the latest marketing from big brands. They start to put the country names on the chocolate bars, and then they start to describe the flavor: intense, the size, brave, aristocratic, pretty much, which means absolutely nothing. Novi is another brand that people think it's the shit when it's not. 88% vigorous. See, that's what I told you. They try to describe the flavor of crappy cacao. Let's see the ingredients. Cocoa mass, sugar, cocoa butter, vanilla, of course, to cover that sweet moldy flavor. And the award for the cheapest dark chocolate on the shelf is this really good looking dark chocolate bar at only $1.30, and it has only 44% cacao. I mean, can you believe the legal requirement is only 35% for a dark chocolate? Oh, the chocolate spreads. Dark one and a super dark one. Let's see the differences. Okay, honestly fair, in the sense that the dark one has sugar as the first ingredient and the extra dark one is cocoa powder. Good job! Of course, vegetable oils in both hazelnut content. Here they don't tell you in the dark one, in the extra dark one is 6%. Also, I found the dark version of the hazelnut spread we found before. Let's look at the ingredients. Hazelnuts 19%. Wow. Cocoa powder 11%. I really want to try this. Let's see what the fuss is all about. When you've been in the chocolate industry for so long that you can look at a product and already kind of tell the flavor? Yeah, for me, it's this one. This looks, I don't know, so, but let's bring it home. You know what? You know what? Let's try it out. Let's try it out so I know what I'm blabbering about. Second round completed. Here is what I got. Dark chocolate on the Giotto because I need to know how they taste like. Then I got the Rigoni di Asiago in the dark version. Again, I need to know what people are raving about, and maybe they don't know any better because I have some really good chocolate spreads at home from Craft Chocolate Maker, so it's gonna be fun to compare, especially the ingredients list. And then these cocoa nibs. Cocoa nibs in dark chocolate. Of course, they are caramelized cocoa nibs, but you don't know that until you look at the ingredients list. I don't know why it's still summer here in Italy. Why? I want fall, I want the cold, I want hot chocolate. Let's go home and try all this stuff. And I'm putting everything in this insulated bag because even the crappiest chocolate need to be protected. So I'm finally home and here's everything I bought from the different supermarkets. We're gonna taste them all together. If you don't know me, I've worked in the chocolate industry for 10 years, but mostly I'm a big advocate for craft bean to bar chocolate, which is chocolate made starting from very specialty cacao, aromatic, ethical, sustainable, turned into chocolate that has very few ingredients. It's artisanal, the chocolate maker. So this is usually the kind of chocolate I talk badly about and I tell people not to buy and to spend their money better in some other products. But hey, I consider this market research because if I want to talk bad about something, maybe I should know how it tastes. So here and there, every other year, I try again products from the supermarket so I know what I'm blabbering about. And this gigantic mug is some tea I made for myself just to cleanse my palate in between different products. I'm usually very picky with my tea, so I always choose specialty teas, but I'm not gonna waste money on a very expensive sencha if I have to cleanse my palate in between pretty bad products. So I just stick to a very general, okayish, watered down gunpowder tea. I'm gonna start the tasting with this 100% chocolate bar because if I taste the spread, the gianduiotto, or even the 70% dark chocolate before this, when I get to this is gonna taste more bitter, more astringent, more everything than it actually is, just because it contains no sugar. So I want to give this a fair chance. And so we begin. The color is very dark for a chocolate bar, even 100%. You may not see it well from the camera, but it's almost black, which is never a good sign. It almost does not smell like chocolate. It smells very neutral, very flat, very nothing. I tasted this off camera just because I don't want you to hear all my chewing. I don't like to hear that in other people's videos, so I don't want to put you through those as well. So I tasted this and honestly it's not as super bad as I remembered it. I remembered it being full of off notes, which are like defects in chocolate, like smelling like rubber, burnt, which this is not. However, I find this very full of cocoa butter, and cocoa butter dilutes any good and bad flavor in the chocolate. So they played creamy so that you focus on the creamy texture and you don't have to focus on the total absence of any aroma. It just tastes like chocolate, which for the regular consumer is, oh my God, that's amazing. But 100% chocolate bars can give you so much more than just tasting bitter and flat. I actually have a couple of examples. Let me grab them for you. So these are two chocolate bars. They're both 100% from Italian artisans. This is made in Belluno and this is made in Chiusa, all kind of in the northern of Italy. These taste like flowers and fruits. And these taste equally very tropically and fruity and very sweet. So the fact that people say that Lindt 100% is oh my god amazing, I think it's just because it's very creamy. So you forget about the bitterness with the creaminess. It's not gonna cut it for me. But better than I expected, I'll be fair. Let's go on to this one. 70% Ritter Sport. So Ritter Sport is one of those brands that I don't consider being the worst of the bunch. Not the best, but so Ritter Sport has its own cacao farm in Nicaragua, but they make so much chocolate that I'm not sure they get all their cacao from their farm. Anyway. Oh. Okay. I want to say this smells worse than the Lindt one. Definitely creamier. Like you can tell it's melting in my hands already. Let's grab a piece. This tastes the exact same as if these had 30% sugar. There's no great flavors. There's no emotion. It's just very flat, very boring. I mean, this is the dark chocolate you like when you haven't tasted anything better yet. But it's meh now. Now we can taste this dark chocolate gianduiotto, and it's really interesting that they claim it's dark chocolate, but they don't tell you the cocoa percentage. There's no indication on the cocoa content. The hazelnut content is 32%, which I'll admit it's not too bad. It's not too bad. This is from Novi, a very acclaimed chocolate brand here in Italy. The first thing you want to do is smell, because it always gives you a great preview of what you're gonna taste. Oh, it's very sweet. Although sugar is not the first ingredient, but it smells super sweet. First of all, it's way too creamy. It just goes through the mouth and the throat in 2 seconds. You can't really taste the cacao that much. So it's curious that they also made a dark chocolate edition when you cannot taste the cacao. You can taste a hint of hazelnut, lots of sugar, lots of cocoa butter that just coats the mouth for forever. So I really look forward to my sip of tea. No. It's not good. It's not good for the level of gianduia that can be made. And for the last tasting, we are gonna do this dark chocolate and hazelnut spread. So I grab a spoon, but also I wanna grab the chocolate spread of an artisan here in Italy, which is Bagai. And we're gonna read the ingredients list of this one compared to this one. So the ingredients list for this is sugar, 19% hazelnuts, sunflower oil, cocoa butter, soy lecithin, vanilla. For this one, the ingredients list is 62% hazelnuts, sugar, and cocoa butter from Ecuador, Los Rios. Can we see the difference here? Also check this out, and I'm gonna do an entire video on chocolate spreads because it's needed. Look at this natural oil on the surface. It's almost like, you know, the natural peanut butter oil. And look at this. This has no oil because it's so filled with emulsifiers and vegetable oils that keep everything together that no natural hazelnut oil or cocoa butter. Just to be noticed. Okay, let's dive in. See how solid it is? Very creamy, which to me, it's not a good sign for a spreadable cream. When it's too creamy, looks almost unnatural, like a lot was put in, again, to keep it together. The first thing I noticed is that it sticks a lot to your palate, which is something that the natural chocolate spreadable creams, the one made in artisanal ways, don't do. Plus, it's very sweet. You can barely feel the hazelnuts. The cacao is okay, but again, it's like this one. It's just cacao flavor. There's no fruity notes, spicy notes, anything interesting about it. It's so flat and boring. I don't think I want to take a second spoon of this. That was enough. That was really enough. And for me to say about a spreadable cream means a lot. And this is supposed to be the most outrageously famous spreadable cream in Italy. Last but not least, the caramelized cocoa nibs in 70% dark chocolate. I just realized it's written here. So know that we're not tricking us with caramelized cocoa nib. It was written there all along. Okay, my fault. Absolutely my fault. Let's see here. So usually when I open a craft chocolate bar with cocoa nibs, there's a nice, very rich, very filled carpet of cocoa nibs. Let's see how this looks like. I guess here the nibs are just inside, so there's nothing really to see. Okay, the nibs are inside. Let's see. Oh, okay. This smells like rubber. This smells bad. Rubber, mold, slightly cheesy. Let's try it out. So the cocoa nibs are pure sugar. It's like sugar crystals. You can't even tell that they're cocoa nibs. I guess the ratio between the nibs and the sugar is very unfavorable to the nibs. And there's this big contrast between the super cringy bitterness and all the defects, and also some astringency, I feel it here now, from the chocolate, and the super sweetness of the sugary cocoa nibs. They just crush in the mouth instead of being better for each other. No, this is bad. This is really bad. So final conclusions. This is pretty boring, but not as bad as I remember. Bearable, man, there are way better choices for just 2-3 euros more, so I don't see why you should go for this stuff. This is way more boring than I would expect. It gives you nothing. It's like munching on wooden table, plastic table actually. Gianduiotto has nothing dark. It could totally have been a classic Gianduiotto, so it's useless diversification of portfolio. This, to me, it's not up to standard, and I don't want a second spoon of this. I don't want to see this again. No, this awful. This goes directly into the trash. So cheers to you for enduring this pretty bad tasting with me. I promise next time I'm going to show you what the good stuff tastes like. Stay tuned.